Welcome back to the StarCraft 2 WCS Global Finals live from BlizzCon. I am Mr. Bitter, joined as always by Rotterdam to my right, and we are back with another excellent series.
Here you go, Ben. Have a Roddy.
Thanks, Kev. Everybody needs more Roddy.
I've been giving away Roddies all morning long. I went to my hotel. I had a big stack of only
stash that like right there.
Only Roddy cards, and I went out here in the audience. I was giving everyone a Roddy card. Then I had to go back to the hotel to pick up more Roddy cards because, man, they are wanted.
Man,
this is probably one of the most wanted cards, man. It's so rare, but I've got them all in my pocket. Have a Roddy card.
Well, it is definitely one of the hardest cards to come by.
Because I cherish them. I'm actually, yeah, never mind. We can talk more about the Roddy card later on. Ben, our next series is going to be INnoVation versus duckdeok. That's right, it's going to be a TVP. INnoVation, the man who was considered 6 months ago without a shadow of a doubt to be the best player in the world. It looked for a long time he was going to come into this finals as #1 seed as well. But just on the final moments of the WCS season, Sorky collected a few points more than INnoVation. Regardless, Ben, still one of the absolute favorites. And he's going to go up against a guy that I think is, you know, the polar opposite of INnoVation. A lot of people probably even surprised that duckdeok is here. He did, of course, win WCS Season 2 in Europe, but that already feels like quite a while ago, and that also kind of felt like a miracle.
Yeah, duckdeok, you know, he wasn't the favorite to win any of those events, right? No one thought he was going to win Europe. Certainly, no one. It's hard to not sound overly critical, but I don't think anyone expects him to get past INnoVation here. But what we can say about duckdeok is that his unorthodox, hard-to-predict play style has gotten him this far. So while INnoVation is a heavy favorite, while INnoVation is still regarded worldwide as one of the best players, maybe the best players, certainly the best Terran on the planet.
If he wins BlizzCon, then everyone's going to be like, INnoVation, best player in the world. It's going to go like that all over again. But
yeah. I mean, duckdeok's got a mountain to climb, and his name is INnoVation.
네, 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 이신영이고요. 팀은 에이서 팀이고 아이디는 인노베이션이고 종족은 테란입니다. 네, 에이서 팀으로 들어오면서 이제 자율적인 분위기에서 연습하는 거라 저의 책임감이 더 크고 또 열심히 한 만큼 노력한 만큼 결과가 나타나기 때문에 제가 정말 열심히 해야겠다라는 생각을 하고 있고, 또 해외 대회를 그렇게 많이는 출전 안 해봤는데 또 자기 혼자서 이렇게 해외 대회 나가는 것도 또 남다른 것 같고, 근데 이번 대회 목표는 당연히 우승이고 최소 결승 진출은 해야 만족을 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
INnoVation is just too good. He is everywhere, man. He's unstoppable. This is like a supercomputer.
솔직히 제가 2만 명이나 넘는 관객 앞에서는 아직 게임을 한 번도 안 해봐서 장담은 못 하겠는데, 저는 떠는 편은 아니어서 오히려 더 즐기고 기대가 많이 될 것 같고, 기대가 많이 되고 전혀 떨 것 같다는 생각은 안 하고 있어요. 근데 이번 블리즈컨 시청해주시는 분들에게 감사하고, 또 제가 최근에 좋지 못한 모습을 보였는데 이번 블리즈컨에서 우승해가지고 다시 최고의 선수라는 걸 증명해 보이겠습니다.
You know, Kev, the most powerful message to me from that video was, I will be satisfied if I at least make it to the finals.
you know why, Ben? Because even the second place finisher of this tournament will walk away with $45,000. I'd be pretty satisfied with a $45,000 payday as well.
I'm just satisfied to be at BlizzCon. INnoVation has much higher hopes, of course. Widely
we are
regarded.
satisfied to be here as like casters.
Well, I'm satisfied to be in the same room as INnoVation.
Yeah, me too.
INnoVation will not be satisfied unless he finds himself in the finals.
I am satisfied to know that INnoVation is sharing the same hotel as me. That's already an achievement on its own.
The first step on his way to the finals, though, is duckdeok, the WCS Europe Season 2 champion, a player who has, it's safe to say, a wide variety of hard-to-predict builds.
Very aggressive builds, often referred to as two-base all-ins, but duckdeok is more than that, Ben, and there is one person in this building who sincerely believes that duckdeok is going to take it against INnoVation. That person is Red-Eye, and perhaps, if we take a look at this next video, we can figure out why Red-Eye has so much confidence.
안녕하세요. 저는 MVP팀 19살 김경덕입니다. 종족은 프로토스입니다. 반갑습니다. 우선 이렇게 엄청나게 큰 행사하고 대회에 참가하게 돼서 정말 의미 있는 자리라고 생각해요. 그래서 이기기보다는 올림픽 정신으로 참가의 의미를 두고 있습니다.
duckdeok performing so well in Europe was a surprise, I think, to everybody.
우선 그때 우승했을 때 e스포츠 커리어가 아니라 그냥 제 인생이 바뀐 변환점이라고 생각하고
duckdeok is one of the most aggressive Protoss players in the world, and what I like most about his style is that even though we know he's going to be aggressive, you just don't know how. Is it proxy void ray, is it proxy gates, or just some good old gateway all in? You don't know, but what I do know is that it's very hard to defeat.
제 지금 컨디션은 너무 졸리고요. 그다음에 이신영 선수 제가 이길 것 같아요. 근거는 없지만 한 3대 2 정도로 이길 것 같습니다. 특별 훈련은 딱히 하지 않고 그냥 평소 때처럼 보통 때처럼 연습하고 왔습니다.
duckdeok actually sounds kind of confident moving into this series. I gotta say, those two analysts were handsome and
I
well
must say, there
informed.
was one man there who was running for consular, and the other man kind of looked more like a silly bodyguard that's like not very tough, but pretends to be tough. You look good in that shot, man. That's like the perfect
Oh,
British
man, I
shot.
thought I was looking rough. I don't think I shaved that day. He's like, hey, Bitter, you got to be on camera. I was like, oh, damn it.
What are we talking about? duckdeok? Okay. Mr. Bitter face on, slightly tilted.
Well, it's no Roddy pose. duckdeok versus INnoVation. Well, you know, I just don't know. One of the most telling stats of all, Aligilak, the popular StarCraft 2 odds-making site, has this match 83% in favor of INnoVation.
No, that's actually ridiculous for a BlizzCon match. That's
Yeah.
not supposed to happen at BlizzCon, because we competed all year long to have close to as many as 50-50 matches as possible, certainly in the round of 16 as well. And that one player is such an overwhelming favorite. That says a lot. But at the end of the day, Ben, it's been a while since we saw INnoVation truly shine. And as we said as well, duckdeok is crazy, he's unpredictable, and he's above all very decisive, and I think that's one of his biggest strengths.
And he's going to have to be decisive on these map vetoes. Here we see duckdeok making his first veto. He is going to remove,
I think Frost. Actually, Frost is a pretty good map for proxy stargates.
again, Derelict Watcher, the first map vetoed.
Derek is a very hard map, I think, to play extremely late game. If Terran has a lot of orbital commands, they can throw down a lot of scans. INnoVation is going to proxy Polar Knight, because there are about like 74 spots where you can proxy a Stargate on Polar Knight, and INnoVation is like, well, I'm pretty good at scouting, but I probably can't scout them all.
Look how nonchalant INnoVation is in these vetoes. He looks just relaxed and chill. Yeah, I'm just going to put my hands in my hoodie here.
Paul has told us, and Paul of course being red-eyed, that duckdeok has been working very hard, has been practicing non-stop with some of the best Terran players in the world as well. Korean Terrans, of course, and we're referring to a couple of the European Terrans as well, as far as I know, but especially a lot with Korean Terrans. And he's been going all out, Ben. He's been trying very, very hard. And if he doesn't make it today, it's certainly not because of a lack of trying, because apparently he's been working his heart out.
He's a monster, Kev. Golly, INnoVation's. You know, it's interesting to me. duckdeok vetoed Derelict Watcher. That's INnoVation's least played map in the map pool.
Yeah, because it's such a wide open map that often comes down to like engagements and late game micro, and no one wants to play that against INnoVation. That's why, Ben.
That's true.
Do you want to play 200 supply INnoVation?
I don't want to play INnoVation, period.
Me neither.
I just know I'm going to look like a total clown. Here are our maps, guys. Frost, Whirlwind, Yansu, Belshir Vestige, and Akalon Wastes. So starting it off on Frost, ending it off on Akalon. Interesting that Akalon and Belshir are the last two maps, as they are the most popular maps in the WCS map pool.
I would like to give everyone an update as well, who's just been watching the second stream, that the first series today has ended as well between Bomber and MMA. And Bomber was able to win the series, Ben, 3-2.
That's cool. I'm trying to remember what I predicted for my
You know what I predicted?
bets. Bomber 3-2.
Yeah. I'm 2 for 2 so far,
Oh,
including
man.
map score. I'm going to win this little internal tournament.
It's looking good for you so far. duckdeok, here we can see his stats. He's actually struggled a little bit against Terran, and he's got a very difficult Terran opponent in front of him. Definitely a dark horse, but his play style is, I think, the kind of play style he's going to need if he's going to take out someone like INnoVation.
Yeah, INnoVation should definitely not underestimate duckdeok. That's the last thing you want to do. You can't go easy mode going into a player that is that aggressive, man. You have to be aware of everything that could potentially go on. Take a look at the win rates over here from INnoVation. This is, of course, just within the WCS matches. 83% in mirror. That's just insane. 69% versus Zerg. That's also really juicy. 50% against Protoss, Ben.
Has struggled a little bit against Protoss players, and that could possibly work against him here. Certainly when, again, you consider what is likely to come from duckdeok. Gateway-centric, dare we say, abusive styles.
Yeah, but I don't think we should like pretend that's all that duckdeok knows. He definitely knows more. He's a world-class Protoss player. He's proven this on multiple occasions. He's been around for a long time as well. Once upon a time won a small tournament in France, which gave him 5,000 euros, I believe. That was a very big payday, but it truly started getting big and serious for duckdeok when he decided to play WCS in Europe. Season 2 was fantastic for him. Even Season 3 was pretty damn good once more, as he even made it to the season finals in Toronto. He wasn't able to shine or excel there. He did defeat Bjorn, which was a good victory the first time, then he lost the second time he played against him.
I think it also has to be said about INnoVation that while he started out as maybe the hottest player in the world, recently his results have not been the same. He's, in fact, like 50-50 in his last 20 games. He's like 9-19, or 9-4-19.
I was about to say 9-19. There's no way, Ben. Lie. INnoVation can play against Sorky all day, every day, and he still won't go 9-19. Our first map is going to be Frost, which is a relatively new map. Of course, it's been around since WCS Season 3, but it's not as old school as, for instance, an Echelon Waste or a Belshire Vestige. It's a 4-player map. It's a big map. It's also a map that I think, as Protoss ban, it's kind of hard to defend 3 locations at once, because you don't just have to worry about drops, you have to worry about just run-bys of bio units. And as silly as that sounds, if 6 Marines just run into your turret base and they're not being dropped and you only cover the drop pads, they're going to pick off a lot of pros before you have to deal with it.
Yeah, taking a third at all is going to be hard here for a Protoss player. I almost cheekily have to say that I don't know that duckdeok's going to mind. But we will see if he does in fact try to play the big macro game against INnoVation.
Blink Stalkers are pretty popular on this map, and I think that the Blink Stalkers is not something that's unheard of for a player like duckdeok as well. But I don't know, he might just surprise us first map, open up Nexus first, try to create a nice economic lead, stay on 2 bases for a while, probe up, and then take a turret. But of course, everyone is thinking duckdeok is gonna all in. duckdeok is gonna proxy Void Rays, proxy Oracles. duckdeok is gonna do a Gateway all in or anything. That if he just busts out the Nexus first over here and creates a nice economic lead for himself, would not be all that bad.
Gives him a lot of flexibility to play games with his opponent and get inside his head. So we will see.
Imagine he's able to bust out a Nexus first in game number 1 here on Frost. Gets away with it, creates an awesome scenario for himself, and wins. Game number 2 does the complete opposite, proxies his target and wins. Before you know it, Ben, duckdeok has 3 match points against INnoVation.
And Red Eye would be very happy.
And I have to kiss Red Eye's feet.
Oh man.
Yes.
That would be...
Either way, guys, we are ready for our second series of the day here at the Esports Plus stream. The first one just finished between Hero and SOS. SOS was able to win that one 3-1. Now we are going to watch perhaps the overwhelming favorite over here on the left top side of the map. He is, of course, Acers INnoVation. All I want to do in live, Ben, is announce Sorky as player.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Might have a chance later today.
No.
It could happen.
Yeah, okay, much later. That's fine.
INnoVation's opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of Frost, the blue Protoss player, Season 2 European champion. His name is duckdeok.
duckdeok. Quack.
Yeah.
If he wins this series, Ben, and he's going to play on the main stage later today, I definitely think he's going to get the people quacking over here.
Oh, man. Canada was quacking up for duckdeok.
Yeah, he didn't disappoint.
No.
He took a couple of games, took a series. Didn't make it to the playoffs, but showed some good games.
Showed some skills.
Here we go. Taking a look, of course, at the Chrono Boost, how that's being spent. Barracks going down for INnoVation. INnoVation not taking any risk, not going command center first. Even though cross map on Frost, it wouldn't have been too crazy. And good old duckdeok, what are you going to bring to the show here at BlizzCon 2013? He's been working very hard towards this tournament, especially in this PvT matchup. Ben, I think anything could potentially happen. I just hope, that he doesn't get nervous, because I do think that duckdeok is a player that would probably get a little more nervous than INnoVation. It was also so obvious in the interviews, INnoVation saying, I'll be satisfied if I make top 2. And duckdeok also having more of the mindset of us, like, oh, it's amazing that you already made it to BlizzCon. Like, hell, I wish I haven't made it to BlizzCon as a player. I got close, but Johan Mello eliminated me of the Warcraft 3 qualifiers.
What a good friend.
Yes.
It's a gas opening for INnoVation, Kev, so I think we're going to see a Reaper.
That wouldn't be crazy at all. Nothing wrong with a good old Reaper into a command center. Unless he's going to proxy a factory or drop a factory in the main. But I don't think that's going to happen. It will most likely be a Reaper into a reactor into a fast expand. It's just such a common, safe, and solid opening in TVPs. And if there's one thing that we know about INnoVation, Ben, is that we know that he likes solid and safe.
Yeah, he plays a very deliberate style. He's actually been criticized for being too predictable in that regard. And you know, maybe that's something that he's going to have to change if he's going to continue to be successful at the highest level. But it hasn't really failed him yet. I mean, he is the second highest WCS points winner this year. You know, people call him the best Terran in the world for a reason.
Reactor going down, commencing going down as well. duckdeok on the other side of the map just drops the Nexus immediately without even scouting what's going on. So far this hasn't been a crazy game of duckdeok yet. Everything is very safe, very solid, and you know, as we know it from Protoss players, this could have been anyone.
Yep. There's was that second barracks going
Yep,
out? Yep,
that's
second
the
barracks
second
going
barracks
down
going
there
down.
for INnoVation. His Reaper is doing all the initial scouting. So duckdeok, or I'm sorry, INnoVation did not send an SCV across the map. He doesn't actually know where duckdeok has spawned
Yeah,
yet.
he did send an SUV.
Oh. Well, then I'm just a liar.
You are a liar. But it's okay, Ben, I'll give you a Roddy card.
Thanks, Kev. I need more of these.
The current ratio is 4-1, and Roddy and beta card. Here comes the Reaper hopping into the main base of duckdeok. Oh, this is a great moment for INnoVation. He's gonna fly in, he's gonna be a cool Twilight Council in the back of your base. Now I wonder, now this doesn't mean anything yet. This could be a Dark Templar opening. This could be defensive Blinkstalkers. This could be even aggressive Blinkstalkers just for map control. Or it could be super aggressive Blinkstalkers and go all in. Just because you scout it doesn't mean you know what's going on.
Blinkstalker all-ins are pretty wildly popular on the North America server. These Korean guys tend to show us a different metagame.
I'm just double checking to see if INnoVation actually did see the Twilight Council. Yes, he did. That's why he backed off immediately with the Reaper. He's like, well, that's all I need to see. Blink is being researched. We're going to keep a close eye. How many gateways will go down? How is he going to spend his Chrono Boost energy? He's Chrono Boosting out Blink, Ben. That gives me the feeling that this is not defensive Blink, because if you want to just get a couple of Dark Templars to deal with the drops and whatnot, you don't need to Chrono Boost the heck out of Blink. You just need to get a couple of Stalkers here and there. Blink will finish up.
Look at this Reaper. Oh my god, INnoVation, you're so good. Only saw that probe for a moment, but pulled the Reaper back and smacked it down. So no proxy pylons going down for duckdeok. That Blink upgrade's about halfway done, so just a matter of time, Kev, before duckdeok's able to start trying to get something done with these Stalkers.
You know, we might still see him just try to blink into the main base, pick off Stim, and then blink out and just turn it into a normal game by knowing that he just bought himself a crazy amount of time. But I think it's unlikely. I think it's pretty serious that duckdeok is going to commit big time to this. INnoVation is going to scout, see if the Twilight is still there. He could have seen the lights go up as well, because if we take a close look at the Twilight Council, we can see that there's always lights moving up if you're researching something.
A good second check there for INnoVation, but also great Stalker positioning from duckdeok to make sure that that Reaper did not live to scout another day. Extra gateways going down now for duckdeok.
First Marauders in production already as well. We have one Marauder out on the map. The Marauder count is extremely important in a situation like this, because as awesome as Marines are, eventually it's going to be very easy for Stalkers to just pick away at those Marines and pick them off one by one by one. duckdeok is currently at 36 pros band. This is something he can transition out of, but it also depends on how many Stalkers he's going to sacrifice, how many Stalkers will he warp in. At the moment we don't have too many Stalkers yet, even though a single bunker is kind of risky, but the moment Stim finishes up with the Marauders that INnoVation has on the field, I think he might be okay. He should be okay.
INnoVation playing with some extreme confidence, just dropping those mules there in the natural second bunker.
Definitely has to pull more SMVs, because you don't want to lose the bunkers.
He's got so few units here, and here comes duckdeok. He is going to push forward. INnoVation's army's out of position. First bunker will go down. Time warp going down as well. Stim has finished. So, and another great time warp here for duckdeok. He's going to start microing with everything he has.
Doesn't kill the Mothership Core yet though. So far this has been going very well for duckdeok. duckdeok killing the bunkers, not really losing too many Stalkers yet. If INnoVation stims again, his army is going to be very low on
micro
HP.
From duckdeok, just phenomenal. The army of INnoVation melting away, and duckdeok is in a very dangerous position right now. Medevacs are here, but will they save the day? Are there enough bio units left over?
It's running very low. INnoVation is going to have to show off some sick. Perhaps Micro picking up Marauders. He's going to go to the high ground. That's kind of smart. Makes it harder for these Stalkers to pick up the Marauders. INnoVation needs units, man, and he needs them ASAP. All that he has right now are 4 Marauders and 2 Medevacs.
From duckdeok has been absolutely superb. He's blinking back every single Stalker individually. duckdeok's got just 4 Marauders and 2 Marines. And the unit count for duckdeok is through the roof. 16 Stalkers out against basically no Terran. INnoVation's in so much trouble.
Another time warp going down. GG. duckdeok takes game number 1 here. with a style that's perhaps not that surprising, perhaps in the way that he went for it. It wasn't one bay, it was two bays. Not of a very high economy of just 36 probes, but a great timing, Ben. And I think INnoVation got a little overconfident. Yes, you scouted everything, INnoVation, but it doesn't mean that it's easy to defend.
Oh, man.
You still need to keep those bunkers alive at all costs. Even if it costs you 10, 12 SUVs, you need to keep those bunkers alive. And he just let that bunker die a little too easily.
And just like that, everybody that predicted 3-0 INnoVation.
Which includes myself.
Yeah, well, me too.
Jeff predicted it 3-1.
Yes, he did. So Jeff is still in the running for this one. Paul, of course, still in the running as well. Red Eye.
I don't know what Paul predicted. Probably 3-0 for duckdeok.
I think he predicted 3-2 for duckdeok. But time marches on, Kev, as our second map will be Whirlwind. The ad man's wasting no time getting this going, keeping it moving nice and quickly.
You know, Ben, as awesome as it was from duckdeok, and his Blink Stalker micro was great, but this is something that we can expect of pro displays on this level. As long as there are not a lot of Marauders, as long as there is no like crazy amount of medevacs to heal up the bio army over and over again, they are not going to lose Stalkers just against a few Stim Marines or even non-Stim Marines and non-Stim Marauders. It just doesn't happen. duckdeok is one of the best pro displays in the world. He is going to micro the Stalkers back. He's going to save them. He's not going to lose any of them unless the army of INnoVation snowballs out of control. That's why I think it's so crazy that INnoVation, you know, put such a low priority to his front. I can understand he was worried about the main and just be like, hey, as long as Stim finishes up, I'll be fine. But you do need at least a little bit of cover to, you know, create a bridge to the time where your first medevacs start popping out.
So few bunkers, man. One bunker in the main, one bunker in the natural. The second bunker goes down in the natural a little bit too late.
Yeah, but he didn't even pull the SCVs to keep the one bunker alive.
Yeah, but I mean, when you see other players dealing with those kinds of builds, you often see things as many as 5 bunkers.
Yeah, MMA like went overboard against MC. It's like 7 bunkers to an Igon. And it was still hard for MMA because on a certain point MMA had more bunkers than units. Anyways, we are back in game number 2 here of what did I want to say? INnoVation versus duckdeok, BlizzCon 2013. It's going to be played on Whirlwind. Over here on the left bottom side of the map, Ben, we got the man who was considered the best player in the world 6 months ago and is still widely considered as the best Terran player in the world and one of the absolute best players in the world as well. That's a lot of best in the world and whatnot. It is, of course, INnoVation representing Team Acer. Woo. No one can hear us other than Ben.
Crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Crowd goes wild. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of Whirlwind, the blue Protoss player now leading 1-0. His name is duckdeok.
He's quacking his way through BlizzCon, Ben. One quack at a time.
He's gonna need to bust out the flying V, Kev. I think he's got a long way to go still.
Additional Chronoboost. He uses that little probe of which Todd is obsessed by, where like he drops the gate and then that probe squeezes through the pylon and the Nexus. I have no idea why Todd is so obsessed with that, but he thinks it's such an amazing little trick. If Todd was here right now, he would go crazy and he would talk about it for a minute.
You know, these little probe is so hard to do this. I try all the
time. It just never works for me.
My probe always gets stuck.
No, really, man, it's so sick. Oh, good old Jan Mello.
We'd love to have some fun at Todd's expense. SCV Scout on its way out for INnoVation. He has once again gone 1 racks into gas. So once again, I'm expecting we'll see a Reaper.
I don't think there was anything wrong with INnoVation's build. It was just him underreacting, and I find that crazy because he scouted it, he identified it, and above all, he is playing against duckdeok. Like if you play against maybe like Alls or like maybe even crazier Rain, and you scout such an early Twilight Con, so you know, okay, yeah, he might get blinked. He might put on some fake pressure, he might try to be annoying and force an overreaction. But this is duckdeok after all, and you know everyone has been talking about this since the bracket was announced. Okay, duckdeok is going to be crazy aggressive against INnoVation, and the fact that he gets away with it in game number 1, Ben, kind of blows me away.
Did INnoVation make the mistake of looking past duckdeok, perhaps? I don't know.
This is something that you talked about.
One gate expand. Going down now for duckdeok.
Very safe and solid opening in this matchup these days. There's nothing really that can catch you completely off guard. And even if some super crazy all-in lands and maybe pick off your Nexus, you should still be able to defend your main with a Photon Overcharge as well. So, very solid build. Nothing crazy so far. INnoVation is going to get a good scout off with this Reaper immediately, and he's going to be happy to find duckdeok.
It's going to show up just as the Mothership Core is finishing.
Yeah, he might be able to pick off a probe if he micros his Reaper very well. It's hard to do, but this is INnoVation after all. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a probe.
Well, looks like he is going to be content just to scout all the corners and then get out of there. Doesn't want to lose that Reaper.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Has seen all that there is to see, and now he will dance away.
Rather keeps it alive as he knows that it's going to be very important to get an additional scout off. Now it's a little harder to do that on Whirlwind as it is on Frost, because of course on Frost there are edges where you can just like blink, or not blink, but jump into the main base at all. From Whirlwind, the only way to get in the main base for this Reaper Man is via the natural, and of course that's where duckdeok is going to position his units early on. So it's not going to be as easy for INnoVation as it was on Frost to figure out what he's playing against.
Yes, sir. Same exact opening this time from INnoVation. He's got the second barracks down. He'll be starting up his upgrades momentarily. And duckdeok still hasn't shown us what his plan is. A couple more gates built there at the top of his map, but no tech down yet. What are you up to, duckdeok?
It might put on a little bit of aggression, but it doesn't have to go all out. It might just be a very safe opening over here as well. Even though just like 2 additional gates before a robo, that's perhaps a little too safe. Taking a look at the worker count right now, we can see that it's 29 probes against 23 SCVs, so this is very standard for this phase in the game as well. Or 24 as one SCV just popped. He's like, I'm here with my power drill.
Robo goes down now for duckdeok, so he's taking the super standard approach.
Yeah, this is super safe, because most of the time you would just go 1 gate robo, 2 additional gates, because then you have your observers out a little bit quicker. Your observers represent all your vision, and you want to know how many Rexes did my opponent make. When are those medevacts spawning? Do you have to worry about the straight up attack at the front, or do you have to worry about drops early on? Is he very marine heavy or not? But duckdeok went the other route, Ben.
INnoVation, you're so good. Sneaks the Reaper in once more, and he will get another very thorough scout of the main base here.
Bunch of gateway units being wiped in though, and there is no bunker over here. INnoVation, why did you play this without a bunker, Ben? And without stim, this is going to be a little risky.
Once again, INnoVation finds himself in a tough spot, losing so many SCVs, even being forced to pull workers out of the main.
This is very bad.
Kevin, I don't know if there's anything you can actually do against this, because duckdeok's just going to keep warping in.
Second time warp going down as well. duckdeok is going to have 8 stalker or 7 stalkers soon at the front of INnoVation's door. Are you serious, Ben?
Keep falling. The mothership core is going to die, but who cares about that? Stalkers are just going to walk forward. Every single Marine is going to be focused down. duckdeok is, oh my God. The worker count right now is 21 to 40. The Stalkers have breached the main, and they're walking straight forward for the win.
There's going to be a Widowmine out soon for INnoVation, but a single Widowmine, there's just no way that that's going to save the day. Yes, he has a few Marauders, but you know, without, there's just way too much Protoss over here. There's so many Protoss units in the main base of INnoVation now.
Stim is going to finish, I think.
No.
Oh, why are you going to unburr the Widowmine? Now it's going to get focused down. And the Stalkers are kind of trapped, but they're microing pretty well. A single Stalker being isolated there, but so many SCVs being killed here. It's 21 workers killed thus far, and more going down still. duckdeok continues to warp in, and INnoVation taps out. Good game. duckdeok leads 2-0.
This is one of the moments where I'm just not sure if I'm actually watching this or if I'm just dreaming about StarCraft again, which I do very, very often.
I don't know what to say. I would never have predicted duckdeok to go up 2-0 in this series, but this is kind of what you talked about as we were jumping into Frost. What if duckdeok tricks INnoVation a couple times and finds himself up 2-0? Now he has so much freedom in his builds.
duckdeok can do whatever the hell he wants 3 games on a row in PvT. This is a nightmare scenario for a Terran, even if you're INnoVation, Ben, even if you're as good as INnoVation. And the worst thing is, both games, I feel that INnoVation had a reasonable idea of what was going on. He didn't see that pylon going up near the natural, and he didn't see that it was 1 gate into 2 additional gates and then robo. By the time he scouted that, there were already units on the other side of the map, but why on earth are you playing TVP on Whirlwind without a bunkering in natural? That's just, I mean, so crazy to me.
These players at this level, we talk about it all the time, they want to cut corners and take advantage of mistakes. INnoVation is perhaps cutting all the wrong corners, Kev.
I mean, he's definitely getting caught off guard twice now, with his pants down. The Terran pants of no bunker. Because if Terrans would wear pants, it would definitely be a bunker.
Bunker pants.
Yeah, those would be some sick pants.
I think those would be really cool pants.
I can't believe this, man. Red Eye is sitting there somewhere out there, and he's just laughing at all of us because he was the only one who was actually thought that this was going to happen. It is not over yet, though, so all Terran fans, don't worry too much. This is far from over. We are still looking at, you know, the man who was considered the best player in the world 6 months ago and is still one of the absolute best players in the world. He is crazy. He's a machine. If he gets to a certain phase of the game, he is an unstoppable force. But right now, he's just not taking the necessary measures going up against a player like duckdeok.
I can't believe duckdeok was able to do that off just 3 gates.
Yeah, but it's like he just walked across the map, Ben, with 2 stalkers. Then he had a warp in pylon, which I don't think he would even use if he saw, you know, there's a bunker or there are 2 bunkers over there. But the mothership core gives him high ground vision, and he's like, oh, there's nothing, let me warp in 3 additional stalkers. And now I got 5 stalkers, which is normally a lot in that phase of the game. But now he's like, no, this is completely okay, because these are just marines without a bunker. I got high ground vision, I drop a time warp, I can out micro you, and there is nothing INnoVation can do from that point on.
All of a sudden, INnoVation finds himself down 0-2 against one of the most dangerous Protoss players at BlizzCon.
Everyone who filled in the BlizzCon bracket, Ben, is holding their heart now.
Yeah. Spotting in the bottom left-hand corner of Yansu, the red Terran player. He's trailing 0-2, considered to be the greatest Terran on the planet. His name is INnoVation. And his opponent in the top right-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player. What crazy build comes next? He is duckdeok. And what would you do if you were duckdeok?
What would I do? I think from this point on I would proxy a Stargate, man. I mean, why not? You're up 2-0. What's the worst thing that could happen? That you're up 2-1. And this is one of the sickest maps to proxy Stargates as well. It can be kind of tough to scout, even though we're starting to figure out a little better. Yangsu is not as new as it was 1 or 2 months ago. But still, we've seen so many crazy all-ins. And I actually think in a certain point, if the is this going to be the second pilot, Ben?
I think you're on to something here, Kev, as a proxy pylon will go down. Interestingly, Kevin, the next map in this series is Belshir Vestige. This is duckdeok's worst map and INnoVation's best. So duckdeok may be wanting to end it here.
Now, INnoVation is good enough, Ben, to immediately say, like, okay, red alert, red alert. MMA came to him in the break as well, and MMA probably said, like, hey, man, do you never listen to me when we chat on Skype and we have like a drink together and we talk about all the Protoss players that all in us all the time? Because I told you that this guy does it all the time. And INnoVation was like, oh yeah, sorry MMA, you just keep talking about it. I've kind of forgot about it. And now it's just like, you know what? I'm going to have to worry about this. Expand on the high ground as well, Ben. Yeah. This is very smart. Look at that rally point INnoVation on top of things.
Yep, that proxy pylon is not going to go unscouted. Should not go unscouted.
If you guys wonder why there's no Stargate yet, that is because he has to wait until the Cybernetic Squad finishes up. And I actually think he might not do it, Ben, because he saw that Marine is already on the quest. You know, this could still just be a pilot to go for some gateway aggression of it as well. I think originally he wanted... No, Stargate is going down, but it's going down in the main base. Because I think he's worried about that pylon being unpowered multiple times. Proxying the second pylon is something that the European Protoss player Mouse Mana likes to do. He did it quite a few times.
It does create some paranoia. Certainly, I mean, we can see INnoVation is very frantically looking around to see where is that hidden pylon.
3 racks as well this time before tacking into something.
SCV will find it and begin trying to disassemble it. It'll take a while.
No, he has a power drill bound. He'll be okay. Now he's just figuring out, he's like, shouldn't there be something else here?
It seems like SCV should do bonus damage to buildings to me.
Because they have a power drill.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that happen.
Makes perfect sense.
I think SCV should just do more damage in general, man. Like the beta card says, why don't they do more damage? Big game here for INnoVation. INnoVation playing this very safe from this point on. There are certain Stargate all-ins on this map which are so hard to defend that even when you scout it, even when you're aware of it, Ben, it is almost impossible to defend both the low ground and the high ground. We saw that pretty recently in one of the games that the Muslim played. I forgot who the Protoss player was. He played in WCS Challenger League. Help me out here, Ben.
His name was...
Top? Yes, it was Top. The Chinese Protoss player Top.
No, of course, Zootop.
Yep, Zootop. And Zootop just had a crazy void rail in here, so this might still be the case. So INnoVation playing this as safe as he possibly can is not a wrong call at all, Ben. Just keep that command center on the high ground, rely on your bunkers, worry about oracles, and just get as many bio units out there as possible, because eventually, with 2 orbital commands on 1 base, you're still going to completely crush the Protoss economy.
And duckdeok is pretty serious, Kev. He's going to go ahead and make that pylon on the low ground. Or he will be able to...
he's duckdeok.
To warp in more. This is now 1 base. This is next level aggression. No Nexus anywhere in sight. Scan goes down for INnoVation. He sees...
he sees most of it, not everything.
Sees a lot.
So far, so good.
He spots the Stargate. He sees the one of the extra gateways. Oh, and the duckdeok's gonna walk right up the ramp, but there is a bunker there.
This is so good for INnoVation though, because now he said like, oh, you have quite a few units there already. I should pull more SUVs. 4 SUVs is not enough, INnoVation. Pull some more. You don't want to lose that bunker.
Second
Okay,
bunker could
I
also
like
be
that.
a proper decision.
I like it a lot.
How much time is duckdeok going to take before he goes for this? He's going to walk right up the ramp. Force fields are going to go down. SCVs are not going to be able to repair. Oracle's very quickly killing everything outside of the bunkers. The bunker goes down.
But there are so many Marines still alive that I think this time that second bunker should finish up, right, Ben? That one Marauder soaking up a little bit of damage.
It should. The SCV does not get focused. There's only 5 Marines.
So far so good. He needs to get the Marines in the bunker ASAP. He does get that. So he's out of the woods for now. He's producing Marines 3 at a time. If these Zealots disappear, then I think INnoVation has defended and he has double orbital, so he's creating a massive advantage for himself. It doesn't matter how many SCVs he loses, as long as he keeps that bunker alive and he stabilizes.
And that bunker will stay alive. More SCVs pulled off the line to repair. And as the dust settles, it's 19 SCVs to 23 probes.
And that is a great position for INnoVation to be in. As silly as that sounds, some people might be like, isn't 23 better than 19? Yes, guys, that's correct. But we are talking about a double orbital command over here for the Terran player. 1 mule represents 4.5 workers per minute, if I have to believe Andre Gritorp Hengsha. And of course I do when it comes down to math. So basically, INnoVation is way ahead in the economy right now.
23 is better than 19, but 2 is better than 1, Kev. And that's how many bases INnoVation's about to have against duckdeok, who's only now dropping that Nexus. INnoVation's in great shape. duckdeok, don't look away!
Oh, that's
Force
such a
field's not
sick
gonna
little
help.
hit squad over here by INnoVation, Ben. I love what I'm seeing. This is the INnoVation that we know, the INnoVation that we expected at BlizzCon. He had some time off. He had time to prepare for these games. The first 2 games, it didn't look like the real INnoVation. But this game, Ben, he's all over everything. Even though I still wish he put a few more SCVs because he was definitely playing with my heart.
Man, he was... It's a dangerous game that INnoVation plays, but he's also the best player in the world, Kev, perhaps.
There are a couple of Marines hidden in his middle line. If they stim, they should be able to pick up this Oracle. Okay, maybe not, as duckdeok is on top of his control as well. Twilight Concert going down in the main base of duckdeok. That's interesting.
And how much longer does duckdeok
This
have?
is 6 scan by INnoVation.
Spots the Twilight. Sees all the gates. 29 probes to 26 SCVs. That national expansion has been landed, Kev. INnoVation's income is going to be much better than duckdeok's. The supply is already starting to reflect it. 52 over 45. As,
INnoVation definitely in the driving seat this game.
no
Of
longer
course,
neglecting bunkers.
no, right now he's going to have to take some time. This is not somebody that like, hey, this was a good hold early on. I'm ahead so I can immediately win the game. You don't want to throw away the units. The Terran army truly only gets powerful once Stim is ready, once maybe +1 in combat shield are ready, and above all the first medevacs enter the fray. Those medevacs are going to be in production soon, as I believe the starport is already finished up. There we go, first medevac starting to hashtag roll out, hashtag in production. This is good news for INnoVation, man. As soon as those 2 bad boys are on the field and the supply block ends, so you can actually start building them, he's going to be able to make something happen on the other side of the map. And it's going to be very hard for duckdeok not to take any crippling damage.
Oracle with a lot of damage, still trying to find openings. It might be able to fight these Marines. Maybe if they stim again.
A lot of damage or a lot of energy? A lot of potential damage.
All of those things. Of course, energy is what it has been saving up. And for
Maybe
now,
damage as well, Ben. It's just
oh no!
that's
Takes a
great
lot of
pickup.
damage.
That's a great pickup there by INnoVation. INnoVation being active with these small hit squads on the map as well gives him more map control, gives him a better idea of what's going on. Of course, you don't want to scan all the time, as he did need those mules to recover from the economic damage he took early
For
on.
the game sense, the timing, INnoVation realizes
44 army supply against 18.
Yep.
Ow.
he's coming. And Storm is being chrono boosted as quickly as possible. duckdeok sees this army that's beginning to emerge at his doorstep, and I don't know what he can really do about it.
This is, I mean, after the INnoVation defended, Ben, it was pretty much curtains. It always takes a little while to truly show how far the Terran player is ahead. Photon overcharge does kick in. Feedbacks will land on these medevacs immediately. That's a cute little move by duckdeok, but other than the photon overcharge, Ben, he just has 0 DPS in his army.
Yep. There are no more High Templar out either, so in spite of the fact that Storm is finishing up, There will be no way to cast it. 64 supply against 97. Much larger army for INnoVation, who is just waiting for his chance to end this game.
Yeah, he's waiting for 2 additional medevacs to arrive so they can heal up these units a little bit, as feedback does hurt. And if duckdeok had a few more units, those feedbacks would have been very smart. I'm not sure if he has another photon overcharge or not. We're going to figure that one out right now. No, he does not. So as soon as this one expires, Ben, our duckdeok is in a lot of trouble.
More feedbacks go down, but there's just no army here for our Protoss player. Archon's going to be warped in, but it's not going to matter. Good game, and INnoVation. He ain't done yet. The score now 2-1. Duckdeok still leading, but INnoVation still bleeding. He's not dead.
He is definitely bleeding as he's still behind 1-2 in this series. We are of course playing best of 5. For everyone who just joined us on stream, this is a single elimination tournament, Ben. No second chances. INnoVation has to win against duckdeok. He can't look past duckdeok. That's what everyone has been saying. I still feel he kind of did in the first 2 games. And even in game number 3, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe he knows everything. He knows there is one base Protoss. He knows there's a single Stargate. He knows there are even pilots going down at the bottom of his ramp. And it's still a single bunker for so long. And it's still just like 3 SCVs being pulled. So risky.
He seems to prefer defending barely.
Yes.
As
I almost got a heart attack watching that last game, because as much as I love duckdeok, I would also love to see INnoVation make a deep run, because I mean, if you think about 2013, Ben, you know, we've been around the StarCraft for a while now, and every year has the heroes. 2013 has definitely sort of been the year of INnoVation. Not just INnoVation, you know, a couple of other players, especially Deer as well in the last month, and overall Sulky extremely solid, and Rain in the earlier months of this year as well. But, you know, INnoVation is one of those top guys of 2013.
Definitely.
And it would have been very sad to see him go out here 0-3, you know, when just being a shadow of his former self.
We definitely can't say that. He is still here, and he is still a very dangerous player. And, well, he's also still up against the ropes, Kev. 1-2 is the score. Belshir Vestige, our second map, or not our second map, our 4th map.
You know, I would have loved to see duckdeok still proxy the Stargate, but not do it at the spot where he dropped the pylon, maybe a little bit more to the left, and then just go with it, man. Like, if you want to go with it, then if you want to do it, you do it properly. And now he still proxied the Stargate, or he built the Stargate in his main. As I said, I guess he was afraid of the pylons being unpowered all the time, but that's also something that, you know, INnoVation should have practiced, because you can't just pull a few workers, hope you pick up the probe, or hope you pick up the pylons, but if you don't, you sacrifice so much economy in the early stages of the game that it could have been game over.
Kev, our red Terran player, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Belshir Vestige. One of his best maps. He's never lost here against a Protoss player. His name is INnoVation.
For real?
For real.
Are you sure about this fact?
Never lost here against a Protoss player in the WCS. How about that?
I believe.
I can't speak to other tournaments necessarily. His opponent at the top left-hand
corner. Or ladder. INnoVation just never lost, and Belshir has like 284 wins and 0 losses. It's like, wow, they're pretty good at this game.
The blue Protoss in the top left is 2-2 on Belshir Vestige against Terran players in the WCS. His name is duckdeok.
And you know, Ben, 2-1 lead is comfortable, but as we saw as well in the PvP series, it can all even up so closely. Even though SOS was able to close it out 3-1, if it goes 2-2 and it goes to the rubber match, well, not officially the rubber match, but to the deciding game number 5, anything can truly happen. So this is still... obviously, every single game is super important here at BlizzCon. Why are you giggling?
This game is spectated by Alexandre. I don't know how to pronounce this in French.
Alexandre Funka Verdier. Follow Funka.
He will correct me later.
It's Funka
because it really bothers Funka when his name is pronounced incorrectly. he and Todd were
Alexandre
whining about this in French.
Anyways, we should keep a close eye on the openings, man. Once more, this is a big game for duckdeok as well. Yes, he had that comfortable 2-0 lead. The proxy Stargate, that was kind of like his crazy, cheesy play. It didn't work out. Now I would say you're going to have to play solid. And so far, as crazy as it sounds, yes, we are in the 4th game of this series. I don't feel we've seen a straight-up PvT yet. And that's not just duckdeok's fault. That's also because INnoVation is cutting corners and playing greedy. But it's not been going to the stage of the game where we're going to have bio, medevacs out, you know, all the upgrades, combat shield and whatnot, against a solid expanding Protoss player that's going to defend for a while and that's going to try to go up to 3 bases without a massive advantage for either side. Yes, we've seen medevacs. Yes, we've seen a few, you know, stint bio units here and there, but never in an even stage in the game. Either INnoVation super far ahead or INnoVation super far behind and just having 2 units. I would love to see just a solid straight-up game between these two.
INnoVation is mixing it up a little bit, getting his command center on the low ground this time. But beyond that, actually still no gas. What are you doing? Fast 3 CC?
That's just a no gas fast spend. He could drop 2 additional Rexes behind
Yeah,
this.
that's probably what's going to happen.
Which is like he's going to get slightly more Marines out of the 3 Rex opening than he's getting of this 2 Rex with the Reaper and the Tech Lab, because that just takes a little while before that one truly starts kicking in. And he's probably afraid of more aggression, so he's going to play it very safe. At least that's what I think he's going to do, and drop a 3rd Rex before going into gas. And you know, Ben, I like it.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Nexus still not down. There goes. Finally, duckdeok drops that Nexus.
No, this is a little
Oh.
tricky, but since there's no Stalker over here, there's nothing to worry about.
If only it could have been an opportunity for duckdeok to do a little bit of damage, but for now, easily repelled. Bunker will be completed soon, and with it, duckdeok is going to feel much less confident in his ability to poke forward.
A save innovation here, Ben, with the 3 Rex before gas, and I like it. I think that's definitely what he wants to do in this game. This is game number 4, but it could be the deciding game already for innovation. If he loses its exit, he's going home, and 2013, at least on the absolute biggest stage, will be done for him. He will have a GSTL finals later, which, you know, is not too bad either, but
Yeah, it's
it's no BlizzCon.
pretty prestigious team league.
Yep.
Hidden probe. Crouching probe.
But this time it is, we can see duckdeok going for the 1 gate into the robotics facility, so this is already different than what we saw on Whirlwind, where it was 3 gates into a robo. So I'm going to try some gateway aggression, maybe do some damage and transition out of it if I can, or I'm going to do some gateway aggression and win if my opponent is playing greedy, which was the case. This time, even if he drops 2 additional gates, which is not the case, he would have still had his observers much quicker, so more scouting
Pretty
information.
sick scout, man. An SCV able to
Yeah.
walk right up into the main base at this stage of the game.
And innovation immediately Ben pulls all the SCVs, and he's like, wow, a Forge and a Robo? You're doing quite the opposite over here, huh? Let's see how you're going to deal with a bunch of Marines on the other side of the map. This Zealot will spot it.
This is great by duckdeok, though. Seeing this, it will allow him at least to react in some way.
Yeah, and he can also start fighting this already far away from his base. And Stalkers, of course, are better in a wide open field than Marines, so he can get like 4, 6, 8 shots off for free before the battle truly starts, and that can actually be game-changing in the early stage of the game. Or you can just sit back and rely on photon overcharge.
Well, innovation looks like he's not completely convinced that he wants to commit to that. He's going to turn these Marines around and send them back home.
But what he did do is scare duckdeok, maybe forcing an additional warp in, maybe spend a chrono boost on the gateway, which could have been a chrono boost on the Nexus. It's all the small things, Ben, because after all, StarCraft 2 is a game of inches.
Okay.
Ain't that right?
It is. It is. For a moment, I thought Warp Gate wasn't done yet, but of course, that's ridiculous. There we see it. All finished up. Thanks, Funka.
That would be ridiculous, Ben.
Observer is going to skirt into the main base.
This is the first time we're going to see a real straight-up game, Ben.
Yeah.
As duckdeok is researching armor as well. Now, if he wants to go with Blink Stalker aggression, it's unlikely that he researches armor. It would have been attacked majority of the time. Because, of course, with Blink Stalkers, mostly the shields take damage and not the actual armor. So researching armor for a Blink Stalker only makes no sense. That's a quick Templar Archives, though. And that does make me wonder, Ben, is this for defensive purposes? Or are we going to see some Archon Zealot with +2 armor upgrades and style that innovation, a style that SOS used a lot back in the days?
Let's see. There is a pylon over near the third base. So
What a massive scanner for innovation.
that's
Of course,
actually huge.
duckdeok kind of made it easy on him, but there is absolutely nothing that innovation doesn't see.
Money
just
scan.
Keep thinking about SOS for some reason.
The all-knowing eye of innovation has seen everything that duckdeok is planning, and he's going to use this as an opportunity to push out on the map once more. He'll chase the Zealot off this Zelnaga tower, or I guess Stalker.
duckdeok is going already up to 50 probes, so I find it unlikely, Ben, he wants to stick on 2 bases forever, because there is no need for him to go on up to 50 probes if he wants to make something 2-base or 2-base magic happen. He might just go up to feedback, or or rely on feedback to deal with drops, get a 1 or 2 Archons and then some Immortals, and then go up to 3 bases. We will see.
It's a pretty big Terran army by comparison. 21 army supply to 41 army supply. duckdeok's going to have to be a little bit careful. He does have photon overcharge. He will immediately cast it.
At the on the other side of the map, we can see the third base going down for innovation. This is, of course, something that's extremely important. He can still be active with these units out on the map. He can even commit quite a bit to his attacks and to his drops, as long as he does some damage with it and he doesn't throw away all units. But behind this, he does have that economic lead, or at least he's going to have an economic lead in the near future. Oh, he's going to stim in. This is a crazy move. Storm is not ready yet.
Oh,
is he
man.
actually going to be able to snipe the Nexus over here? That would be so massive.
The Nexus will go down, and then the medevacs are going to load up, but can they get away? One Yes, they both escaped just in the nick of time, and a huge pickoff there for INnoVation keeps the majority of those units alive. He's taken to third base. Duck has been smacked down to one base, and now what's he going to do?
I think he's going to try to counterattack, as he knows that one of those medevacts is extremely low in HP. The units might be a little bit out of position, and INnoVation has to defend 3 locations at once. But still, Ben, if he's not rebuilding this Nexus in ASAP, he is super all in, and I don't see this work. This is a phase in the game where INnoVation has a bigger army, and sure, that Archon is scary, but there's no way that duckdeok can make this work, Ben.
There is a warp prism with the army. 2 pylons just finished up in the natural, so duckdeok can make a big warp in.
Okay, that's a lot of Archon. Storm is ready as well, but he's not going to rely on Storm. Did he even cancel Storm? Yes, he cancelled Storm. So that's just him saying, I'm not going to turn this into late game, Ben. He cancelled Storm. He's going all out. duckdeok wants to finish off INnoVation right here, right now. I don't see it happen, but maybe. Archons are pretty scary.
This is it, Kev. One fight to win them all. INnoVation backing all the way back into a corner of his natural. Realizing that this is the stand that he has to make. Here comes INnoVation. He's going to push forward. He's going to try to pick off the Warp Prism. That's going to be huge. Warp Prism goes down. That's going to make it much harder for duckdeok to reinforce. And INnoVation with SCVs and all of his army is going to push duckdeok back. duckdeok will be dropping a Nexus now in his natural, realizing that he's not going to end the game right here. But a better fight on the high ground. Archon's dealing a great deal of damage. Zealot's trying to come in from the other side, but it doesn't matter. Good game gets called. INnoVation cleans up duckdeok.
And just like that, we're all back to even, and it will come down to a single best of 1 to figure out who is going to advance to the quarterfinals here in BlizzCon 2013.
Man. It's getting it's getting a little bit dicey all of a sudden.
Do you really think it's getting dicey?
Who was up 2-0 is now even.
And once more, Ben, I don't feel that we saw that PVT or TVP or however you want to look at it in matchup that we know, and that I think a lot of fans love as well, where it's just, you know, player dropping over and over again, another player defending. Eventually we're going to get Storms, the good old High Templar against the Ghost War. It's none of that. INnoVation just steaming in. duckdeok slightly losing focus of INnoVation's army, being worried about drops in the main, instead not having units in the correct position, and just losing the Nexus like that is a pretty big mistake. Like, that should not happen in that phase of the game.
Super painful. And hey, man, hats off to INnoVation for seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, he jumped on it.
Capitalizing on it. A truly razor-thin window. And he managed to
Eye of the tiger, the sense of a killer.
Yeah. We move on to Acheron Wastes for game number 5. And, well, all I can really say here is that duckdeok, he's 1-3 on Acheron Wastes in PVT.
You know what I'm going to do, Ben? If INnoVation actually comes back after being down 0-2 in this series, he evened it up right now. If he's going to win this series, I'm just going to walk up to him and give him a Roddy card. I'll even sign it for him. Well, INnoVation, I was there when you did this.
Spotting in the bottom right-hand corner of Acheron Wastes. Kev, he's undefeated in TVP on this map. 5-0 in the WCS. His name is INnoVation. And his opponent in the top left-hand corner was at one point leading 2-0 in this series. Now he finds himself at match point. His name is duckdeok.
You know what I find crazy as well, Ben? The moment that INnoVation was down 0-2, I think any other player in the world would have been like, at least a deep breath, a big sigh, something like some sign of frustration or stress. It looked like he didn't care at all. He's just like, yeah.
His face never changed. His hands never came off the keyboard.
MMA walked over to him. He's like, hey, you're playing for real, man. This is for real. And he's like, oh.
And he's like, I know, get lost. Put on a show for the fans.
Oh, man, if INnoVation is able to just go for the reverse comeback after being down 0-2, that would be a spectacular way to finish off, or to start up, actually, his BlizzCon run. INnoVation can go very, very far. One of the big favorites, I think, to take it all. At least one of the top 4 favorites, I'd say. Man, he was kind of on the ropes already. He's coming back.
Showing some pretty incredible poise. INnoVation he's really seen every side of tournament play, Kev. He's been up and lost games and series. He's been down and he's come back, and he's showing some of that right here.
He's traveled to tournaments without much success. He's come into tournaments as a big favorite and actually live up to the expectation. And not many people who can say that. Once more, Ben, I think this second probe, or I think this probe might be up to something. Because this, no, never mind. There's a second pylon in the right top side of the base that I missed. Sorry, guys. Here we go.
Sneaky pylon. That doesn't mean this little guy can't build another one, though.
Nah, I have faith in this little guy, man. That's a good guy. I think INnoVation is once more going to rely on to what he knows best, just well, actually what he thinks is best against crazy Protoss players, and that's of course kind of the case with duckdeok, as duckdeok is a little crazy, and going for the one Rex fast expand into 2 additional Rexes, just a very safe opening. You get a lot of Marines out. Yes, it is a little slower. Yes, your medevacs are going to be a little later to the party, but what you will have is plenty of Marines out there to deal with any early kind of aggression.
He's again fast expanding on the low ground, Kev. duckdeok also getting his Nexus down nice and early this time.
Yeah, nothing crazy so far. Similar opening from duckdeok, but from this point on we always have to ask ourselves, where is he going to take this?
Little probe tried to end the life of an SCV, but he got away.
It's kind of sad, man. Workers should stick together.
Probe has a, oh, look at this guy. He's out for blood.
The other probe on the other side of the map, he has his taser ready already. It's going to run up to him and shock him in his neck.
The little probe that could. I think I can. I think I actually no. He gives up.
2 additional Rexes going down in the main base of INnoVation, just like I predicted, which obviously wasn't a very hard thing to predict after the 1 Rex fast expand opening. Very safe opening, just lots of Marines been early on. INnoVation wants to get out as many units as possible, because you'd rather be safe than sorry in Game 5 on BlizzCon. And that's the understatement of the century.
I think we can agree on that.
No,
What?
duckdeok, no! In game number 5, actually I want to say 3, in game number 5, duckdeok is going to go up to 3 bases at the 5-minute and 20-second mark. Are you for real?
Not
Now
sure
this can go
what
2
to
ways.
make of this.
This can go 2 ways, man. Either he's going to survive to a certain phase in the game, and of course Tim is going to be a little later with this opening. This is duckdeok just immediately adapting to INnoVation, adapting to him, and I must say that's some crazy high-level play here. This is a super ballsy move by duckdeok, but if he's able to stabilize on 3 bases, which won't be easy, but if he does it, he's going to go into the mid game with a massive economic advantage.
Notice the positioning on that mothership core. It is poised to intercept scouts.
Yep, he has the Zelnaga control as well on the south side, so there's no way that INnoVation is going to scout this 3rd base early on without duckdeok being aware of it.
Where's that scan?
It's in the main.
In the main base. And Funka's got some skills. You see how he's found that?
Yeah.
He clicked on INnoVation's building, saw his vision, and then he could see the scan on the menu.
Funka's ahead of the meta, man.
This is like top. This is why he's one of the world's
Oh my
best
god,
observers.
INnoVation completely misreading this. He's afraid right now. If you guys wonder why the 2nd bunker on Earth, it's because INnoVation just threw down a scan and he saw almost nothing. So INnoVation is like, there's a pylon tucked in a corner with 5 gateways around it. The ultimate Artosis pylon is out somewhere. 2nd scout going down as well. He's 2nd scan going down.
Has he pieced it together yet? Does he realize what's happening?
I think he is safe
He
to say.
yes, he does.
Yeah, he cancelled the bunkers because he's like, what? 2 gateways in production and a Twilight console?
Wow.
What is going on over here? I think he's still confused, don't get me wrong.
Now he sees stalkers. Will he rebuild the bunkers?
No. He's probably thinking right now that it's a similar opening to Whirlwind, or maybe even to Belcher, that he just somehow missed the robo. He's definitely confused. Stim is about to finish up, and it's going to be very good for INnoVation, Ben, if he decides to move out without medevacs, which is normally not something you want to do. You want to cherish those Marines early on. You want to babysit those boys until they can do the massive economic damage that you're looking for when they get dropped out of a medevac. This time, however, it would be much better for INnoVation if he sends out these bio units before those medevacs are out.
Up to 50 probes now. duckdeok has almost bought the time he needs. Templar Archives going down, and INnoVation does not look like he's going to be pushing out on the map anytime soon. He's going to take out these rocks.
Well, if there was ever a way to enter the mid game for duckdeok while not being behind Ben, this is definitely it. He's 3 bases, ridiculously quick. His gas income is going to explode as soon as he saturates all his simulators. He does need a little more time, but I think by the time that INnoVation has put the pieces together and be like, you know what, I think you're on to 3 bases, I think it's going to be too late to do something about it, unless his micro and drop control is just godlike, which we know he's capable of.
It can be. For the first time this map, INnoVation pushes out towards the center. He's got a very respectable bioforce in play.
duckdeok needs units ASAP. As we can see, 22 army supply against 40. This is very scary. But with photon overcharge, this is a deficit that you can overbridge, man. This is something that you can live with, and it shouldn't be impossible to survive up to the next phase in the game.
Single scouting Marine will see nothing at this location, and INnoVation should now realize exactly what he's up against. duckdeok sees the army of INnoVation, and what is he going to be able to do about it? He's oh man, this
with
is
the
such a
additional
small
weapons.
force.
I mean, with a Guardian Shield, he does have charge ban. He just needs a little more time for one additional weapon. There's Photon Overcharge here as well. It's hard for INnoVation to make this work. He's going to try, though.
Might find himself pinned back, but the Mothership Core is nowhere near position. He's going to pick off this Nexus. It's going to go right down, and immediately INnoVation should just fight.
Oh, he can kill the Nexus again, maybe.
Nope, he's going to pick up and get out of there.
Oh,
feedback is not going to be...
Let's keep the high temperatures alive. Though still not too bad for duckdeok, Ben. Sure, losing the Nexus sucks a little bit, but if we take a look at the worker count, he's still on 66 probes against 53 SCVs. He picked off a lot of bio units there. Smart play by INnoVation, dropping those bio units on top of that ramp or cliff.
Keeps the Marauder alive, and
duckdeok shouldn't move out too much though, because his army right now, as crazy as it is not very good in a straight up fight. He has a units that will deal a lot of damage, but not a lot of units that can finish off units. Oh my god, he's going to counter-attack, and that might actually be...
At the same time, he's going to be getting dropped by these two medevacs.
Oh god, here we go again. Game number 5, man. It all comes down to this. Everything comes out to this, and it's going to be very, very hectic and very close regardless. INnoVation kind of needs these units at home, man. He needs to deal...
oh man, it's going to be so close. Here comes duckdeok crashing into the ramp. The first bunker's going to fall. 2 more bunkers behind it, but Storm's going to rain down on the units that are here. It could end right now. Storm on the SCVs. Every single worker's going to fall, but the bunkers do complete.
Photon Overcharge saving the day at home.
Oh, but no units back at home. This last bunker's going to fall. Oh my god, 3 Marines and 2 Marauders are all that stands between duckdeok and one of the biggest upsets possible this tournament. INnoVation is raising the natural expansion to the ground, but his own natural has been crushed. This single Marauder is not going to be able to save the day.
duckdeok is losing a lot of workers on the other side of the map as well, Ben. This one Archon is extremely low in HP. duckdeok not reinforcing anymore either. Not that rich.
Oh,
you know, this is still a very close game.
Zealots have crushed this expansion. duckdeok still on 3 bases. Will he try to get up this ramp? I don't think that's going to happen. And he is going to have to back off. So duckdeok retreats home.
We don't mind getting a shot of as well. INnoVation right now, despite being down 30 workers, I do think he finds himself in a pretty good position, as army supply is quite a bit in favor of INnoVation. He's still dropping as well. Okay, he's going to have to back off with this aggression. INnoVation is down 26 workers, Ben, but I do think he has a small window of opportunity to do something about that.
It's 3 bases to 3. Economically, we can definitely say that duckdeok has put himself ahead. His upgrades are also very good. We see, is that +3 armor on the way? So that's only +2 armor.
Yes.
So not as good as I thought. Oh, these medevacs! One of them will get shot down, but luckily it was only a few units inside.
Maybe this medevac is going to be able to deal some damage here, but INnoVation decides he needs every single unit right now.
Look how fast these guys are playing, just burning up their keyboards. Both of them know the gravity, the importance of this situation. INnoVation's going to push forward.
There are like no observers out on the map at all, so Widowmines are a pretty smart choice. This Widowmine is going to get a pretty juicy shot off. A lot of splash damage on those additional Zealots. This is a dicey situation for duckdeok, but actually I think it should be fine.
Oh,
and run-bys as well.
That's going to be brutal. Nothing at home to defend. Every single one of these SCVs could end up biting the dust. We see a few units stimming and running back, trying to save the day. And they do ultimately show up in time. Meanwhile, INnoVation setting up a nice concave outside the natural expansion of duckdeok.
Is playing with fire. There are so many storms here.
Storm does go down. Widowmine will fire on these Zealots. Another good storm landing on the Marauders, and INnoVation is going to have to give up this position. A storm on the medevacs, but they will get away.
It's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. Taking a look at the upgrades for INnoVation, we can see that he is at 1-1. I don't think he has an armory, man, because this has been such a crazy game. There is no armory for INnoVation. He needs to kill some probes. Otherwise, I think duckdeok is going to spiral out of control.
INnoVation only now started making SCVs again. Drop trying to make his way into the back of the
that's not going to work.
This is a dangerous place to be. And that medevac will continue.
What it does do, Ben, is he keeps duckdeok on the other side of the map, and that's definitely something that INnoVation needs, because INnoVation needs time. He's going crazy now with drops all over the place. He's playing with fire. This couldn't go either. He's going to win the game here. He's going to win the series.
Oh, dropping behind the natural.
Or he's going to lose so many bio units.
Feedback on that medevac means no heals in the main base.
The third base,
should clean it up. The third is pretty exposed. There are a few units here to try and defend. INnoVation is being so aggressive with so few units. But it's actually starting to work. Storms are coming down. duckdeok making the defense of his life will force these medevacs to lift. and evacuates still. Damage being dealt in the natural. That Nexus almost goes down the medevac.
Oh my god, INnoVation sacrificed so many units that I think that duckdeok is going to try to counter. INnoVation does have some units on the other side of the map as well, but he has no ghost. He doesn't have 2-2 upgrades either. INnoVation kind of just feels like I'm going to have to make this work with 1-1 bio units.
Oh my god.
This is going to be a very tough hold for INnoVation. I'm not even sure if it's a possible hold.
He's down 20 army supply, and a lot of it is on the wrong side of the map. 4 High Templar being warped in. I'm guessing those are going to be Archons. Yes, sir.
One Prism, I think, in the main as well. That's going to be a world of trouble for INnoVation. INnoVation is going to have to retreat to his main.
Huge Widowmine explosion, but here comes duckdeok.
Here come all
and
the
there's
storms.
lots of energy for Storm raining down all over the bio. Every single Marine and Marauder has been touched by these storms.
But INnoVation so far hanging in there pretty well, Ben. He's cleaning up a lot of these units. He's killing a crazy amount of probes on the other side of the
but
map.
So many Immortals and Archons still alive in his natural dropping.
Oh my god, INnoVation is playing sick though, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. As you said, so many Archons, but Archons can't really run up this cliff, can
No,
they?
they can't. The command center is burning. Photon overcharge has expired in the natural expansion. These Marauders are trying to shoot down this base.
Oh, Storm, like, INnoVation can't really run down that ramp either, because Storm could land of it. Finally, INnoVation will lose those units that were active. These 3 Zealots have been active for a very long time as well.
They've done a ton of damage, and these transferring SCVs are also going to go down. Every single worker here is going to fall, and this is going to be further hindrance to the economy of INnoVation, down to just 18 SCVs. How in the world does he stay alive? These Archons are all so incredibly low. Oh man, medevacs caught in transit. One of them will fall. The second one is also going to go down. Another nice pickup for duckdeok. He's 140 supply to 80.
Man, all that duckdeok needs to do right now is just chill. He needs to fall back, warp in a couple of High Templars, gather up a little bit of energy, and then I think he should be fine. INnoVation knows that he is in a world of trouble. He's going to try to focus down the Templar Archives. It's just not going to work. duckdeok is so rich. Yes, he lost a lot of probes throughout the entire game, but he's still on 3 bases. He has so many High Templars. He's gathering up energy. He has 5 of them at the moment. He has charge. He has an upgrade advantage. INnoVation wins this game. It's the sickest game that he ever won in his life.
Well, it's going to be very difficult. He's down 60 supply right now, and duckdeok confident enough to be building workers. INnoVation's going to load up some medevacs, and they're going to fly right over some High Templar. Fortunately for INnoVation, there was not much energy on those medevacs.
But still, Ben, this army from duckdeok is once more making its way across the map. There are 6 High Templars with Storms. Most of these Archons have regenerated as well. So there were like 3 Archons which were down.
Oh, man, that's very scary. INnoVation, I don't know how he thinks he's going to win this game without 3 medevacs full of units. And looks like they are not going to completely cross the map. Here comes duckdeok once again. Pushing forward into the natural. This orbital is probably going to go down.
INnoVation is going to try to flank this army, but there are so many Archons and Immortals and Storms, Ben. Finale is doing the impossible. Everyone thought INnoVation was going to win this series.
Hold your breath, Kev. I think it's about to be over. INnoVation's army is in a very difficult spot. Half of it behind Finale's army. The other half defending in the natural. These Marauders are completely caught out of nowhere, and INnoVation's just losing units for free, trying to run duckdeok away. Perhaps trying to create a fight out in the middle of the map. I'm not sure what he's thinking here. Oh my god, the flank coming. So many Zealots will come crashing into these units. And Storm raining down on some of these Marauders. GG! duckdeok has upset INnoVation with a score of 3-2 and advances on to the WCS Global Finals round of 8.
I can't believe what we've just seen.
I can't believe what I've just said. As duckdeok
there was one man in this building,
doesn't even smile, man.
There was one man in this room that sincerely believed that duckdeok was going to win this series, and that was Red Eye. And
and now you have to kiss his feet.
Yes, I promised that I would kiss his feet if he was right. Unbelievable series, man. And I think that Artosis, I think it was Artosis who said this once, it's probably like the most accurate quote ever to describe this series. The cheesiest thing a cheesy player can do is play a macro game.
Yeah.
And I mean, 3 Nexus at the 5-minute mark. INnoVation throwing down 2 scans, still kind of misreading what's going on. And by the time that he finally figured it out, INnoVation was just fighting an uphill battle. Insane performance by duckdeok, and you know you gotta love the underdog, man.
Yeah, just unbelievable, man. duckdeok takes out INnoVation. No one is gonna, if you weren't watching, they're gonna be like, what? But it was, it was an amazing series. Went up 2-0 very quickly. INnoVation fought back, evened it up at 2-2, but at the end of the day, duckdeok was just a little bit too strong, and it is he who will stand atop the heap in the round of 8.
I can't help to feel still though that it was more INnoVation losing the series than duckdeok really winning the series. Of course, duckdeok played fantastic in Game 5, and I really enjoyed watching him, even though INnoVation played his heart out as well in Game 5. He was working with so little, but still trying to make magic happen, dropping all over the place. It was awesome to watch. But those first 2 games, I felt those were such unnecessary losses for INnoVation. It's just a complete, underreacting to what he think what was going on, and just playing like a little careless. Like you can't play. I mean, then again, like the champions do cut a lot of corners, and that's why they are the champions, because they cut the right corners on the right moment. But getting a bunker on whirlwind, I don't feel like is going to set you back that much. So skipping that bunker is going to put you in a great position. Awesome execution by the builds, or from the builds.
Yeah.
By duckdeok.
From duckdeok, yeah. Great play from duckdeok. He moves on. We're going to move on to a short break. Guys, we'll be back with a lot more StarCraft 2 from the WCS Global Finals from BlizzCon.